welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Last time we began Omega's test Alphascape, and yeah, he decides he needs more data, so our next opponent seems to be Midgardsormr. And Sid seems to be invisible or something. Sid? My apologies. It was not my intention to undermine the gravity of the situation with this diversion. I've noticed the kettle was boiled and thought some tea would soothe my nerves. I poured myself a cup and was halfway through drinking it before I realized my hand, not to mention the rest of me, had turned invisible. I understand the situation is unsettling, but I assure you I can still work unimpeded. Now we'd best discuss how to approach... Oh, it seems to have worn off. No, you're not to blame. I did ask you to fill the kettle after all. And I'd forgotten what Nero had said about your cart producing water with unexpected properties. Although it seems the effects are rather different this time. In any case, it was pleasant to have a distraction from our greater woes, however brief. We'll set the rest of the water aside for now and decide what to do with it later. Right, Serenia. We need to talk about your forthcoming contest with Midgardsormr. Watching through the monitor, I could see that this room appeared different from the one we know. From everything we've heard thus far, it seems that Omega and Midgardsormr both hail from different stars, two distant worlds at war with one another. As a result of that conflict, the worm was forced to gather his offspring and leave his home behind. And after evading Omega's pursuit over the course of an unimaginable journey, the father of Dragon arrived here on our world. I'm assuming the entity here to face is a younger, more vital Midgardsormr, just as he was when Omega first encountered him thousands of years in the past. A formidable foe indeed. I fought him once at the Keeper of the Lake, but it was entirely different. Wait, you fought against Midgardsormr before? But yes, I think I see your concern. Would be unwise to treat this as the same opponent, considering how different they might possibly be. It certainly doesn't help matters that Omega's little surprise isn't registered as an official test subject. I can't even use the terminals to search for the most basic information. With that in mind, Serenia, I have a proposal. I wish to leave the completion of this supplemental stage entirely in your heroic hands. Rather than twiddle my thumbs while you prepare to contend with the dragon, I mean instead to work on a strategy for our inevitable confrontation with Omega. And then, my friend, we will put a stop to this mad machine once and for all. I'm glad we're in agreement. I ready my tools and you're ready yours. We have a worm to slay. Alphascape version 2.0. There is Midgardsormr. I am Midgardsormr, father of dragons, and paragon of worlds. Hurting me, okay. It's a fight of all to... Now in. I'm not quite certain how he announces his moves. I think it has something to do with his circling, but where are you? Frozen ground means don't move. Great. I'm right in the middle of it. Yeah, this is out more okay. Okay, sit. Another stunning victory, Svenja. I felt the breath catch in my throat on more than one occasion. Yet, even as I watched the battle rage, I was struck by an idle thought. Did you notice the resemblance between Midgardsormr and Shinryu? Unlike most primals, Shinryu's form had no basis in any system of belief. I've heard the theory that the summoner was simply influenced by the majesty and power of the elder primal Bahamut. But now I'm beginning to think there might be another explanation. That the primal took its shape from the ancestor of all dragons on Hydaelyn. The widely held concept of how a dragon appears has, for centuries upon centuries, been rooted in the depictions of Midgardsormr. The summoner may not even have sought to imitate him specifically. Subconscious thought memories alone could have guided the similarity. Not that I have any way of confirming this theory, of course. Nevertheless, 'tis interesting that Shinryu's summoning should lead us to awakening Omega. A strange twist of fate when you consider the machine's connection to Midgardsormr. Well, whatever else destiny has in store, you've already bested the opponent that Omega itself failed to overcome. A feat worthy of celebration, I'd say. In the end, there is Omega. Your move, Omega. Shutdown initiated. All core experiments and supplemental testing concluded. Discarding test worlds. System resources rerouting to primary operations. Congratulations, Alpha Group. As the last surviving test subjects, you have removed every challenger on your path to reach me. I too am eager to meet you in battle. The margin of error I observed between my simulations and your practical performance against Midgardsormr necessitates direct and immediate analysis. Confrontation imminent. Prepare for unmitigated hostilities. Then activate the relocation device to enter the arena. This is it then. Omega's power might seem overwhelming, but trust in old Sid. I have a fair idea of where its weakness lies. And I've been working on something to exploit that vulnerability. I just need a little more time to prepare. Shaking hands. First things first, we make a few adjustments here, like so. Alpha, do you have any of those tricks and tools left over? I want us to have as many options as possible, so let's lay our cards on the table, as it were. What do we have here? Some sort of gem? Couple stones? And one single card. This one makes things bigger, does it? Or is it smaller? Right, it was foolish of me to even ask. We'd best leave you in charge of when and how to use your special tools. Ah yes, I almost forgot. I'm sure you'll do fine. Here, you should carry this as well. I filled an empty bottle with the invisibility water from the kettle. It might just prove useful in the right situation. Listen to me, Alpha. Up until now, Omega has poked and prodded us from one mad experiment to the next, and honestly we have no idea of what might happen in there. But between us, I believe we have the knowledge and skill to prevail. If you see a chance to make a difference, I want you to take it. All you need is faith in yourself and a little courage to see it through. Right, Jesse should have that device put together by now. Let's head outside, shall we? Let's straight back to Raga's reach and collect my new toy. I do still need to run through a final inspection, so feel free to rest in town in the meantime. We'll discuss strategy the moment I'm finished. Alpha seems concerned for Sid's well-being. You have a feeling he wants you to follow him. You're looking a bit shaky there, old friend. Nero? They let you out of bed, did they? After studying the data collected from the battle between Omega and Shinryu, one has led to a certain conclusion. Of all the primal attacks, Shinryu's bursts of lightning was the one thing that pierced the machine's defenses. Omega, it would seem, is vulnerable to electrical energy. Aye, all the available evidence supports such a theory. It is likely intrinsic weakness that even Omega itself cannot fully compensate for. Yet, be that as it may, I imagine it can still shrug off shocks generated by ordinary means. We need to hit it with a truly gargantuan blast of energy. And so you made that. You based it on Midas' design, didn't you? The plans for the lunar transmitter. When my father was establishing a connection between the transmitter and Dalamut, he invented a method for accumulating and converting energy on a vast scale. Too vast, as it turned out, but the technology which leveled an entire town may be exactly the tool we need for the task at hand. I've made my own improvements and triple-checked the calculations. On parchment the idea is sound, and Jesse has done a fine job assembling the parts. I fail to see the problem. What are you afraid of, Garland? I don't know. The device should give us the edge we need. Tis just... Whenever I look at it, I'm taken back to those dark days after the incident. I remember bodies, melted by searing heat. I remember the bereaved, and I feel the weight of their silent accusations. I remember the Empire's remorseless response. We turned outward in search of answers, but the inventions we created to ensure our future were used instead to destroy lives, to wage war. And that's why I fled. I came to Eorzea and swore to only employ technology for benevolent ends. But not is ever so straightforward. Every connection I've forged with the people of this realm reminds me of that act. Often the act of living itself is a never-ending struggle against a world determined to oppose you. It was Grahatia from the Crystal Tower in the background. This is media from Alexander. You can have the best intention and still cause hurt to yourself or others. But 'tis in confronting these wounds that we learn the better path, how to grasp those moments of true contentment. What drivel? You never used to bore with all this tedious introspection. Feeling your mortality, are we? Mayhap I am. I had no such hesitation when I was a student. It was all bright and shiny innovation on the double, and later consequences be damned. Now though, I don't mind thinking through the outcomes and taking the time to produce just one rigorously tested and carefully designed invention. It is a reflection, I think, of just how much there is in this world I care about, now aside from myself. I don't understand you at all. But I suppose, if anything, Omega and its unfettered testing methods represent the student you once were. And if you insist that your present self is the better one, then you'd best prove it with that device of yours. I suppose I must. Although it is hardly fair to compare my youth to Omega's solitary existence, I always had the second best students class pushing me to excel. I seem to recall a twinge of irritation any time he would outscore me on an exam. I've been out of bed too long. I better go and lie down before I fall over or vomit. That was Alpha saying thank you to Nero. That really helped him. Jesse? The Chief seems to be on the top of things. All that's left now is to bring your combined talents against Omega. I have complete confidence in you. First Alpha, now you. Come to check on my progress, have you? Well, I'm happy to report that everything is set and ready to go. Once you're finished with restocking and repairing, or whatever it is you adventurers do, then we can head back to the Rift and confirm our strategy. Apologies for the delay, but I think you'll agree the Ironworks' latest invention was worth a wait. This is the control module for something I dubbed the Omega Jammer. It will allow you to generate a colossal burst of lightning at any point of your choosing. The effects won't disable Omega itself, of course, but it should be strong enough to knock out its armaments. I'll remain here and operate the main body of the device. I want to do everything in my power as an engineer to ensure you emerge the victor. It all comes down to this. Okay, but I think I actually end the episode here. Next time we continue right with the raid with Alphascape version 3.0. Until then, I am Mace, and don't get lost.